Hi, everyone. Mike White here. Welcome to this week's vlog post. Once again, the housing numbers prove that there's no housing bubble. You know, this past year, there's no housing bubble on the horizon. The conversation about this has been, you know, absurd to ridiculous, however you want to phrase it. But we've been talking about this for a while. And so many people have been sitting around believing uh, all the social media clickbait about prices going to drop and there's going to be, a 20, 30, 40% drop in housing prices. And unfortunately, these people have sat on the sidelines waiting for that housing bubble or waiting for interest rates to come down or both. And those people, unfortunately, have sat around and watched as they've lost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. And unfortunately, for some people, may have, seen their opportunities to actually achieve home ownership disappear as the price of housing in their market has gone up to the extent that they're not going to be able to play catch up. And we've talked about this over and over again. There are plenty of people out there who just seem to be surprised that housing prices continue to rise. And, there is no clear observation by people in our industry that, acknowledges the fact that there are more people out there, more willing buyers than there are homes or units available for them to buy. And the facts are pretty simple is we see this in our day-to-day lives. In 2023, the numbers have come out and prices rose almost 6%. And again, this is a national number and all markets are different. We've talked about, being market specific, but in general terms, and that's what we can compare it to. And you should certainly drill down in your market as to what your market reality is. But from a national standpoint, home prices rose almost at 6%. And if you look at the average sales price, which has now gone over $400,000, that's more than $20,000. And that doesn't look like that trend is reversing anytime soon. And unfortunately, there's a dirty little secret out there that very few people want to acknowledge. And you need to be aware of it. And we've talked about it before, we'll talk about it again, but the reality years past is we have constantly produced less housing units than we've had family formations. Okay, that's just the fact. The number of new housing units has lagged behind the number of new household formations. In the past few years, again, and I don't want to get into a whole political diatribe here and go back and forth because this is not about politics. This is about reality. The reality of it is we've seen millions upon millions of people coming into this country. Millions and millions of people. Pick whatever number you want, 8 million, 10 million, 12 million, 15 million, whatever you want to call it. The reality of it is that those people have to live somewhere. And the pressure on those people having to live somewhere consumes those units that would otherwise go for other people or be available for other people. And it's a real challenge because many of those units that are being consumed are at the lowest end of the marketplace, the one that that first-time home buyer, that entry-level property, the least expensive property is the one that comes under the most pressure. That's just the way it is. And whether we like it or not, we're never going to alleviate the housing affordability crisis in this country, especially at the low end of the marketplace, when we keep dealing with increased demand, not by the thousands, but by the millions of people. That's just the way it is. And again, that pressure, the builders are not going to go out there and build. We know it in every market, affordable housing units. People who are buying land and building communities, why would they build a $300,000 house when they can use that same piece of land and build a $500,000 or an $800,000 house? It's been the argument forever. And the reality of it is the pressure on this market is very real and will continue to drive prices higher. So with this pressure, that is one really major aspect of this marketplace. But as we're approaching the spring buying market and the hope of interest rates going lower, what do you think is going to happen? We're already seeing, at least my clients are seeing, really solid activity levels in their marketplaces. People coming in, people getting pre-approved, people coming back into the market, offers being made. And again, we're seeing multiple offer situations. We're seeing prices going significantly higher than asking price in some markets. And those other people sitting there making one or two or three offers and starting to say they're not getting their offers accepted because you know what? They're not making their best possible offer. Now, some of that has to be educational for that buyer in that market, and I get it. And some of us need to do a better job extolling the virtues of being the best possible buyer that we can, making the best possible offer that we can, because getting that offer accepted and getting into that house stops one thing from happening. It stops the cost to you of going higher on the price of that house. Prices are going higher. Yeah, you may hope that you could get a lower interest rate on your loan, but you know what? Once you fix the cost of the price of the house to you, you can always benefit from refinancing down the road should rates go lower. But what if they don't? What if they don't go lower enough to make it worthwhile doing? And what if your house continues to rise at 4, 5, 6% per year? What does that mean? Is how long are you going to sit on the sidelines? And unfortunately, there are people that are doing just that. They're sitting on the sidelines, not making a move because they're reading about the housing bubble. They're reading about, how interest rates are going to plummet. They're reading about all these things, and nobody's explaining to them the reality of the pressure on the housing market, because you know what? The pressure is real, and it's likely going to continue. I mean, again, may not be in all markets, may not be in all places, and this may not apply to you, but in a significant portion of this country, certainly where a lot of my clients are living, they're seeing multiple offer situations, prices going over, asking, and being prepared to make that best offer is helping people get into houses, and it's stopping home prices from running away from them. And that is really critical. So we have to be open to the possibility of having those conversations with our clients. We have to be open to the possibility of having those conversations with our referral partners, because again, rates may go lower. And if rates do go lower, you're probably going to see more people coming into the market, which is only going to increase the pressure. So as always, if you have questions or comments, it's Mike@imtcoaching.com. We'd love to talk to you. We'll see you again next week. Take care.